Today I'm joined by Congressman Robert Garcia. He is the congressman that represents the 42nd Congressional District in the great state of California. Before serving our country as a congressman, Robert Garcia was the mayor of the 7th largest city in the state of California, Long Beach. And because he was the mayor of Long Beach, California, he brings a very unique perspective to issues that we are facing both locally and in our country. Today, we talked about a lot of different things. We talked about local issues here in Long Beach. We talked about Southern California issues, and issues across the country. And of course, we talked about the Epstein files. This was one of my most favorite interviews that I've done. So let's get into it. Nice to meet you in real life.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Hey, everyone.
Okay, so I like to start my conversations with the rapid fire for an icebreaker.
Sure.
Since I don't know you.
Yeah.
So, do you like coffee or do you like tea?
Coffee every morning. In fact, it's the first thing I have to do. I actually can't function without my first cup of coffee.
Right, you need like jet fuel right away?
Jet fuel right away. I go from bed to coffee every morning.
I love it. Okay, what's your favorite local restaurant?
Oh man, hard. I mean, favorites. I love Enrique's, Mexican.
Okay. Ooh, yes.
I love Open Sesame, Amatoli. Mm-hmm. I love Los Compadres in downtown.
Oh, the one on Pine?
Yeah, the one on Pine. Those are probably some of my faves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is the food better here or in DC?
100% here. In fact, the food in DC is generally not great, in my opinion. Can't make Mexican food. And the food here, I mean, Long Beach has got some of the best food, I think, anywhere. And the food scene is growing a lot, so definitely here.
Nice. Okay. Do you get your haircut here or there?
Here, I go to Barber Louie in Bixby Knolls. I've been going to him for a long time.
Is he your advisor?
He has a place called Esquire, and he's my barber. Been my barber for a long time.
Really? I love it. I always wonder, because you always look dapper.
Thank you.
What's the last book you read?
Oh, wow.
Do you have time to read leisurely books?
It's funny because most of what I do now is consume an enormous amount of like media, so I rarely get like a good leisurely book.
Right.
And lately, when I've been reading, I try to read things really, really light. I just actually read. It's actually a trade paperback novel.
Okay.
Woman of Tomorrow. It's actually based on like a superhero storyline, supergirl storyline. It was probably the last fun thing I read, but I mostly read, unfortunately, a lot of like news magazines, some podcasts.
I was gonna ask because I know like the topics you cover are like so heavy.
Yeah, I used to read actually a lot more fiction. Mm-hmm. I just don't get to anymore.
Yeah, sure. Do you ever get the chance to sleep in?
Rarely, but I do try to sleep in when I can, but I rarely do. But I try to get if I can get like 6-7 hours, I feel fine. Yeah.
Well, like what is sleeping in to you?
I mean, here back home, I mean, sleeping in. I mean, like 7:30 would be nice.
I'm just asking because you're going between two different time zones, like every week, right?
Yeah, but in DC, I definitely try to stay on California time. So I try to sleep in just a little bit. You know, if I'm waking up in DC at like 7:30 or 8. Yeah. Even though here it's like 4:35. Right. That's a good thing.
Nice. Okay. What is a hidden gem in either Long Beach and Orange County, since you represent Orange County, that everybody should visit?
Hidden gem. So I would say, like, here in Long Beach, one of my favorite places to go and think is actually the Colorado Lagoon. Ooh. And I grew up we're in East Long Beach now. I grew up for the most part in East Long Beach, and so I've always loved the lagoon. Yeah. I walk it regularly. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a place where I can like put my earbuds on and just walk and think. And so that to me is a real Long Beach like hidden gem. Right. And I love it a lot.
Do you get to peacefully walk, or do people come up to you? And do you like it when people come up to you in public?
So I actually don't mind. I think it's part of the job, and so I get stopped a lot by folks, and I think that's you shouldn't be in like the politics business if you're not expecting people to come up and ask you questions or tell you something they like or they don't like, and so it's very much part of the job. Yeah.
Okay. I want to switch gears just a little bit and ask you some things about politics.
Sure.
When you're in Long Beach, what are you hearing from constituents that you think people in Washington should be paying more attention to?
So I think when I'm in Long Beach, I think two things that really stand out that I think are important is one is the cost of housing and rent for people. Oh. I think people are really struggling, and it's not just it's not just gas, which is expensive. It's not just groceries. For people back home and in California, the cost of rent has become so burdensome. The cost of housing, people can't afford to buy a home. There's not enough housing stock. When I was mayor, we built about 8,000 units. It's not enough. I mean, we needed twice as many. And it's really hard to build housing in California.
Sure.
And so I think that's something I hear that I wish more people in Washington, D.C. Paid attention to.
Okay. What do you think is an accomplishment that Congress has made that has the biggest impact on Long Beach?
I mean, I would say something locally that we worked on is we've already probably brought home about $300 million for the port.
Oh.
In important grants to move a lot of the cargo like off trucks. And so those grants is part of a large project that's like a rail project that brings rail right into the port.
Oh.
It's way more sustainable. It's going to be good to clean the air. And so it's a major project that we help bring in, and that the federal government supporting. I think more broadly, when Congress passed under President Biden the infrastructure law, that has really, a lot of the construction projects you might see around are actually federal projects.
Oh.
Whether they're at the airport or whether they're major road projects, a lot of them are like federal projects, and that's something we're really proud of.
Nice. Okay. Long Beach and Huntington Beach are two completely different political cultures.
Yeah.
How are you going to fairly represent both now that we've redistricted?
So obviously, I won't officially represent them till next year, till January.
Oh, interesting.
Because the second election in November has to pass, but I will represent them. I've been campaigning there a lot.
Right.
Look, in the last primary election, I won 44% of Huntington Beach.
Wow.
Which was better than I thought we would actually do. I've never been on the ballot in Huntington Beach. Obviously in Long Beach, we did great, but in Orange County, when you look at Huntington, Newport Beach, Seal Beach, Costa Mesa, all these communities that I'll now represent, we won of the Orange County part, I think 46% of Orange County. Very conservative areas. So, and this is with 5 candidates on the ballot. And so we actually think that we have a shot of getting possibly close or over half of the vote in Huntington Beach.
Wow.
Which I think says a lot about that community and what they want in representatives. And obviously very grateful that here in my hometown, we blew it out of the water. And so that helps the total number. But yeah, we won by 13. I think we were in first place by over 13 points in the primary, and we expect to win big in November. And I'm going to represent them just like I represented folks in Long Beach. I told people, look, the people in Huntington Beach, whether it's Newport, other places, they want access to good health care. They want affordability for their kids. They want clean air. They don't want oil drilling off the coast, which Donald Trump is trying to open up oil drilling. They want no more oil drilling, which I support. And they want dollars for infrastructure. They want, we just brought $30 million for the airport to redo the runways. Well, they want the same thing. They want their piers fixed. They want infrastructure dollars. They want repairs to their parks. And those are the kinds of things that I'm going to focus on, even when we disagree, maybe on politics. That's okay. We're going to disagree, but on other things, I think we can come together and I can deliver for those communities.
What would you say to Republicans, conservatives, independents that really feel like you do not represent them?
Look, I think I'm going to be their representative, and so if they don't want to work with me, that's their choice. But at the end of the day, I'm going to work with all of the city councils and bring back federal resources. And so when they see their park fixed or a major infrastructure project, we're gonna do that. We've done that in Long Beach, and I'm not, infrastructure repair is nonpartisan. Federal support, I want to support their libraries or community centers, do all those things. So that is what it is. I've had people that have not supported me for a variety of reasons my whole life, and it's okay.
Okay. Looking ahead, what do you think is the biggest challenge for Southern California?
So I think for Southern California, it's issues around housing and ensuring that we are dealing with the enormous challenge of people that are unhoused and homeless in our community. The mental health piece, the housing piece, the security piece, just the compassion of ensuring that we recognize these folks are human beings and what we're doing to help them. I think those issues of housing and folks that are homeless is our single largest broader issue in Southern California.
I have to say, when I cover the unhoused, people are concerned and they're frustrated, but they're so compassionate about their situations.
That's right.
It's really, truly refreshing.
It is. And I think I tell people all the time, we have to understand you have people that are suffering, that are human beings and have families. And then at the same time, if you're a mom, you're a dad in a community, and you want your kid to be able to run down the street and know that your kid is safe,
right?
And know that there isn't someone that's going to yell at them or maybe put them in danger, and that happens oftentimes with folks that are severely, as we know, their mental health and mentally ill, and so both those things can be true. And I think we should accept the fact that people need help, are suffering, and that families want to know that their kids are also safe. I think we have to recognize both those things.
I always try to remember, too, that unhoused person is somebody's family member, brother, sister, dad, mom, whatever the case.
That's right.
All right, I want to switch gears, and I want to ask you what kind of immigration reforms you are working on.
Look, let me first just start by saying that what's happened from like an immigration perspective is horrific. As an immigrant, I've never seen this level of animosity, the attacks from the government, the president, Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, what they did and what they continue to do to immigrants is shameful and really, I think, makes most of us sick. What ICE has done in our communities in kidnapping people, enforcing folks into these detention centers, the way they have really cut due process. I mean, they're violating the Constitution. Everyone in this country, whether you're a citizen or a non-citizen, you have the right of due process in the Constitution, and that has not been followed. It's awful, and so I'm proud for like community members that have pushed back. I mean, the rapid response. There've been groups like Orale and so many other organizations that have come out and given rapid response training, have ensured that some of these folks are being alerted before there have been raids in the past. And so I obviously oppose all that. I strongly believe that I take the position that ICE should be abolished. I don't think it's as an agency. It can be reformed. And long term, we've got to get to a place where we both pass secure immigration reform, where people have a pathway to citizenship if they've been here, if they haven't committed crimes, if they are on a work permit. There has to be a pathway for people that are here and doing the right thing. And look, at the same time, I always say we should all want a secure border. Of course, a border that is secure is it's not just from the perspective of keeping folks safe. It's also like, if folks are coming for asylum, there has to be a safe asylum process. If people are coming, there has to be enough immigration judges there to deal with influxing people's cases. And so a border that is secure should be secure not just from a technology perspective, it has to be secure for human beings, for people to be treated with humanity. And so I think we can get to both of those things, but it's not going to be under this president.
Right.
But we have to change the way we look at immigration in this country. Immigration has made our country better, and it continues to make it better. That's why we've had so much success.
Right.
So it's sad to see what's happened.
What do you have to say about the fact that Stephen Miller grew up in Santa Monica, I believe, and you grew up here in Long Beach, and you guys are like literally night and day different people?
I think Stephen Miller is the worst person in the administration. I think that he is such a destructive force on issues of immigration. Does not understand that our country is a diverse place.
Right.
And it's really sad to see.
I just can't believe he grew up in Santa Monica and things like this.
I can't. I wonder sometimes, like, does he believe? Or at this point, he must believe everything he's trying to do. But he's. I always say he'll likely be one of the first people that we will subpoena when we win the majority. Ideally, when I chair the oversight committee, Stephen Miller will be in that hot seat answering our questions.
I love it. During the pandemic, Long Beach temporarily housed unaccompanied minors in the convention center. Can you talk about what factors led to that decision, and do you think it was the right decision?
Absolutely the right decision. We got a call from the White House basically saying that these kids were going to be sent to these centers across the country, these other detention centers where the conditions were horrific, where they weren't going to get the health care they were going to get, where they weren't going to be adjacent to their families. So a lot of these families were Southern California. They were going to be sent other places. And so we said, we can do this better. We brought in UCLA to do all the medical work. We brought in the single best immigration advocacy organization. If you don't know Immigrant Defenders, look them up. They understand how to advocate on behalf of undocumented, particularly children. And we created this place where, look, anytime where children are not at home, it is not where they should be. But the fact that we created clean spaces, safe spaces, spaces where they learn, where there was a clinic inside, where it was temporary, or we reunited them with families, is something that I'm very heartened by, and I'm very grateful to Immigrant Defenders for being there every step of the way, advocating for those kids.
It's an interesting change of perspective for me, because now I'm obviously learning about detention centers across the country, and that is not something that I honestly considered during that time, knowing people were eating terrible food or hours, states, countries away from their families. Like, wow, interesting. I'm glad that I asked that. As the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, what role do you think that committee has in holding the Trump administration accountable?
I mean, that's our number one job. The Oversight Committee is the lead investigations committee in the Congress. And I feel like I've been given this incredible responsibility to go after corruption in government, and I take it really seriously. I've told folks this in Long Beach, and folks here know, the fact that I'm obviously a new member of Congress still, it's been 3 years. The fact that I've been given an opportunity to lead a committee, I take really seriously as a sophomore. I think I am the first sophomore in 100 years to lead a committee.
Wow.
And that's how we do it in Long Beach.
It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, but I feel really prepared because I was mayor of this what I view as this incredible best city. And so with that, the responsibility of holding the Trump family for what are violent violations of the Constitution, Trump family corruption, whether it's the Epstein files, whether it's abuses by ICE, whether it's the destruction of our health systems by RFK Jr. These are all going to be key issues on oversight. And we're also going to work on how to make government better. It's Committee on Government Reform, Oversight and Government Reform. And so how to make government better for people, faster for people, good for federal workers, so that when you're calling the government or you're on the computer looking for a service, it's faster. I'm really also interested in how we make government about the future, and also then holding folks accountable for things that they've done that are harming the American public.
When people call your guys' offices in DC, does that make a difference? Do you guys, for example, Todd Blanche is going to possibly become the next AG. If people call, does that really make a difference?
It does.
Really? Is it calling or emailing or writing?
It's all of it. Especially, look, we track it. So if there's let's say there's a big issue in front of the Congress, very often we'll go to the team and go, hey, what are our calls looking like on this issue or that? And they can tell you, you've had 1,000 calls on this, and 80% of them have been supportive of this issue.
Wow.
And they're constituents. So we know when it's a constituent that live in the community. So I listen to people that call, that send emails. I think it's important. You got to guide yourself with your own values,
right?
But that outreach is important. Just like it is from walking around the street, and someone stops me and says, "Hey, this is an important issue." That does stick with me.
I always tell my followers, call. You guys work for us. We're paying you.
That's right.
And do you really want this person to, vote for this crazy, budget on ICE or DHS? Interesting. Okay, great. Do you support releasing the Epstein files that can legally be released while protecting the survivors? Do you support releasing more?
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, only about half of the Epstein files have actually been released. And people say, Todd Blanche and the president have been like, oh, the files are released. That's a lie. I mean, half have been released. And the other half are still in the possession of the DOJ. And I'm not sure we're going to get those released during this presidency. I mean, Donald Trump has done everything to stop the release. They've doxxed survivors. They've put the survivors and their families in harm's way. And so it's been important for us to push. And I talk to survivors weekly. And so some survivors of the Epstein investigation I know very well. Others I talk to regularly, and they want their files released. Now, we want to protect their identities, and that's really important. But the files have to be released. Why are we protecting these abusers, these pedophiles? They abused and raped women, and in some cases children at that time, and yet we've let them get away with it. And I blame not just Republicans and Donald Trump. I blame, why didn't the Biden DOJ be more aggressive? And I know there are limitations, but I do believe that Merrick Garland, the former Attorney General, could have been more aggressive on the criminal conviction side. We got to get convictions of these men. We're not going to stop till we get justice for the survivors, and that will continue.
How do you personally process the stuff you're looking at, reading at, hearing? How do you get through that? Because you've never been in like criminal defense, have you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
But, I think honestly, like having been like an educator for such a long time, I feel like a lot of educators understand like having empathy and compassion for all your students,
right?
And understanding, and also I've been well trained to, I think, when I think a student is going through something that is beyond happening in the classroom, whether it could be abuse or whether it could be a serious trauma, we are trained to identify that.
Sure.
And so I think that has just taught me, and I think I have a moral clarity around sexual abuse. And so I'm just very determined to get justice for these women. And I also, I've tried to be a strong voice when it comes to issues of sexual assault, whether they've been men in the Epstein files or they've been men in power, men in Congress that have done horrible things. We've got to hold all of these people responsible, accountable, and uplift the survivors.
Sure. Did you know that I got a cease and desist when I made a video about Epstein?
I did not.
I made it about, my opinion on a doctor. Because I did a series of where did Epstein go in Long Beach?
Yeah.
And then I got a cease and desist because I talked about my opinion on a doctor.
That's Epstein was in Long Beach actually at a TED conference. I've never met the guy, but I've seen photos of him at some restaurants around Long Beach. So
people were like, "Oh no, that's my favorite restaurant. He went there. It's ruined."
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so your committee has investigated issues ranging from Donald Trump's family business dealings to the Jeffrey Epstein case. Why do you think that these investigations matter to everyday Americans?
Well, I think investigations matter because there has to be accountability for crimes and attacks on the Constitution. Like I've told people, like Democrats, we should have a forward-looking agenda. So, look, we're going to need to focus on affordability, on expanding, healthcare. I support Medicare for all. We got to get back to a place where we're pushing things like the Green New Deal,
right?
Make things more sustainable. But we can't just move on,
right?
If you are destroying our immigration system, if you are supporting abusers of women, if you are destroying our country and attacking our democracy, pardoning January 6ers, there has to be accountability. So we're not going to just move on. We're going to ensure that the Trump family, Donald Trump is $2 billion richer. $2 billion richer because he's stealing from you and giving it to himself and his friends. They have to be held accountable for that. And that's my job. And that's where we come in oversight. So
I hear a lot of concerns from my followers that they're worried about AIPAC. And they're worried about how the amount of money that these PACs are giving to politics, is it influencing our elections and politics? Like, what's your take on that?
Well, I think that's right. Look, first on the AIPAC issue, I don't take AIPAC money. I haven't taken it in years since I first got to Congress. A lot of folks got to Congress, and there's all these groups and PACs that are running around supporting a variety of different issues. We in Long Beach have a really strong Jewish American community. There's 35,000 in the greater Long Beach area. I know them, respect them. But as it relates to AIPAC, they're an organization now that supports Netanyahu unconditionally. That's wrong. And it's an organization that I can't support, and I don't accept their support. But broadly speaking, it's not just AIPAC. There are organizations or super PACs that put an enormous amount of money into politics. And I think if people want to regain like the trust of people, we got to get super PACs. I support a ban on these super PACs. That should happen. We have to do additional things like members of Congress shouldn't be trading stocks, for example.
Yes.
I support a ban on trading stocks. Members of Congress should not be becoming like immediate lobbyists after they're done being in Congress. So there are bills and to either extend or to ban members of Congress from then turning around and lobbying. So look, it's getting big money out of politics. The Supreme Court's got to take action on that. It's ensuring that there are strong stock trading bans and bans for folks can enrich themselves, and not allowing the members of Congress to go back into the system. So I think all those things matter, and people are right. They should be concerned about big money. I think my average donation, I think, is like $21 or $22. Like I'm really proud of that. But we have still a lot more work to do to get more money out of politics.
So you get a lot of very small donations.
I get
That's the bulk of your donations.
A bulk, yeah. I get everything, but my vast majority of my donations are like $5, $10, $20.
I love it.
And for locally actually, and so I'm locally proud of that.
So here's my last question.
Yes.
Is Mitch McConnell alive?
According to reports, he is. Look, Mitch McConnell. Obviously, I don't wish ill on anyone. He's been a destabilizing force in this country. a horrific record. I think he's obviously he's recovering from whatever, I know he's sick, so I hope he recovers, but I know he's also leaving the Senate this year. And I'm glad because he has done more to harm this country, install right-wing judges than almost anyone. And so it's time for him to end his career in Congress.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Thanks, everyone.